and this is a Ministry of Lands, though we play a very major role in the industrialization of Cross River State. It is very, very obvious that right from when the governor came on board, 2015, one of his major policies at then was that he was going to industrialize Cross River State. And that was what informed his primary signature projects, talking about the superhighway and the deep sea port. Today, the deep sea port is ongoing as I speak, and the superhighway is not moving fast because of paucity of funds. However, you cannot come up with such a project without complementing it with industries that needed to produce the goods and services that will eventually make use of such infrastructures. And His Excellency now took it upon himself to ensure that the state is transformed from the usually known civil service state to industrialized state. And this he did by ensuring that each of the local government areas had an industry established in the local government, especially industry that will have to do with the availability of raw materials, within the environment. Like, for example, if you go to where I come from myself, Yako local government, we have the toothpick industry. And the toothpick industry is thriving because we have massive bamboo, all over the local government, and that is the primary raw material for toothpick. But let me first of all appreciate the governor for taking such initiative. And in Calabar here, talking about the south, he began with the establishment of an industrial park, which we all know. And my Ministry of Land, played a major role. If you go to the industrial park, particularly the Jonathan Bypass, we have the industrial park there established, occupying almost over 700 hectares of land. And in that industrial park, we have major industries already in place, talking about the rice seedling factory, which you all know, and it's a factory that has been distributing rice seedlings to almost every state of the country. And we see ourselves as the hub for the distribution of seedlings. And these seedlings are not just rice seedlings, but improved variety, vitaminized, and in terms of yield, comes out on a very high tonnage compared to other varieties of seedlings. And the same industrial park accommodates the noodle factory, which is the production of instant noodles. And that instant noodle is coming from a raw material like maize. We also have the bag factory, where we have to produce bag for packaging of our products. We have the kalachika established there. We have the garment factory, which is very common in the lips of every cross area that you all know. Also the pharmaceutical industry, where we intend to produce consumable pharmaceutical products. The garment factory is already employing cross-variants, especially the widows, ladies who had nothing to do. They are now well engaged, and that's a lot for Cross River State. Now, if you move down to Odukpani, we have the banana plantation, which we have established over 500 hectares of land for their purpose. Now, our intention was to process the banana into finished products, perhaps for exportation. Now, without Ministry of Lands coming in, these industries couldn't have been. So we played our role from inception by acquiring the necessary land from communities to ensure that these industries are established. And the acquisition of land has been on a very friendly process. We ensure that due process is followed. We ensure that the basic principles of acquisition are followed, where we needed to inform the community, interact with the community, pay homage to the paramount rulers and the chiefs, and then upon interaction, express the interest of government, which of course is an overriding interest. And the endpoint of that acquisition is the payment of a compensation to the host community. Now, that is exactly the way we have assisted the projects that the governor has put in place across the state, especially as it concerns the Ministry of Lands. I've just mentioned a few industries. I can go on and mention every industry in every local government. I have them in my head, but that may take us so much time. However, the major one that concerns us as I speak, that could put us on a very large map across the world for people to hear of Cross River State, is the rice processing factory in Oguja, and then the cocoa processing factory in Ikom. And these are areas where you can easily get raw materials. Remember in your secondary school, you were taught about the factors that could enable the establishment of industry. And one of those factors was nearness to raw materials. So the cocoa is in Ikom because we have cocoa massively produced by the indigenes of Ikom, Boki, and the rest. And most times this cocoa is being taken to other states for processing. And then glory goes to them that they are producing cocoa. Meanwhile, the raw materials are from Cross River State. So we've decided this time around to put up an industry that will process these raw cocoa materials into finished products. So we are playing key role. And besides providing land for industrialization, we also provide land for individuals to establish their homes. We provide land for corporate entities to establish their homes and offices. And as I speak, we have a massive land ready for the establishment of a real estate that will turn out into a modern city, talking about the Las Vegas, which is across the water. So we play major role. Without land, industries cannot be established. Without land, infrastructure cannot be put in place. So our major role is to ensure we interact with communities, acquire the necessary land for overriding public interest, and compensation paid as advent due. So that is where we come in assisting the governor as far as industrialization of Cross River State is concerned.